everybody to another wonderful week. I was watching this show, Attack on Titan. I'm only into the second season, and I was watching this episode, and one thing is really clear. So whether you like anime or you hate anime, I'm not here to advertise anime, okay? I'm here to teach you English, and one thing is really clear, and that is the level of translation in these anime shows is so good now. I grew up watching this type of cartoon back in the 1980s and the 1990s, and the level of translation was really bad. And so while I was watching the show, I heard all of these phrases in this scene, and I thought, wow, they're not just using simple English to get these ideas across. They're using actual complex ideas to get these ideas across. So I was really impressed with the translation. It's okay if you're not as impressed, but there are a lot of phrases here that are really worth learning. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we will look at the first page of this worksheet, and we will work on these phrases together. Okay. So maybe you've heard some of these phrases before, maybe not. But let's go through them one at a time and see if we know what's going on. So what does it mean to stuff one's face? Or if I use this expression, I would say, he's stuffing his face, or I'm stuffing my face. Has anybody heard this phrase before?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. So to stuff means to kind of push in, right? So for example, if my shirt is untucked, I can stuff my shirt into my pants to tuck it in. Or if I have a pillow cover and the pillow is too big for the pillow cover, I can stuff it in, right? So to stuff one's face means to eat, but kind of in a greedy fashion, right? So it means to eat, but not just to eat, but to eat in a greedy manner. So you don't just eat, but you stuff your face, right? So you're taking food and you're stuffing it into your mouth. But yeah, that's a really good expression. And you don't, when you tell somebody to start eating, you don't say, go ahead and stuff your face. It's kind of a negative connotation, a little bit of a negative connotation. But only a little, only a little. Okay. Have you guys heard this phrase, for crying out loud? Yeah? What is going on when you hear this expression?
I don't remember. I only listened somewhere, but I think it sounds like crying too loud. I don't know.
I will give you the best translation to Russian that I can think of. So if I were to say, for crying out loud, in Russian, I would probably say something like, oh, Bozhe, or Bozhe moi, right? So it's just kind of like, oh gosh, right? It's a phrase of exasperation. There we go. Okay, Vlada's here. All right. So for crying out loud is a contained phrase. You never add for crying him out loud or for crying her out loud. It's just like, oh, for crying out loud, okay? And that's it. And that's the expression, okay? What is restraint, and what would it mean to show some restraint? Does anybody have any ideas? No, no ideas? All right, so some restraint let's see, some examples of restraint. Maybe you have, maybe you're going to go somewhere by car. And so when you sit in the car, you put on a seatbelt, and the seatbelt restrains you. So showing some restraint means try to hold back. Even though you want something, don't just go and get it, right? Don't show your greed. Try and show some tact. Try and show some civility, maybe. Okay, so show some restraint. So someone gives you a bowl of candy, right? Puts a bowl of candy out in front of you. You don't just dig in, right? You show some restraint and you grab one piece, right?
When you play poker, you have great cards, and your poker face will show your restraint, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you bet when you're playing poker, you have a good hand. You show some restraint. That's a great example. Good. Okay, good. So to eat one's fill. What do you think this one has kind of a straightforward meaning? Hi, Gabby, by the way.
Hello.
We're on this worksheet. Do you have a copy of it, either electronic or? No? Okay. So in the chat, there should be a link.
Okay.
You got it?
1 minute.
Also, Vlad, in the chat, there's
No, there is no links in chat.
No.
Okay, I will add a link in chat.
Okay.
Oh. Where is the chat window?
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
You have it? Okay, stand there. Good. Thanks. So there's an electronic copy in there. You can open it up and take a look at it. Okay, so to eat one's fill means to eat until you are satisfied. And an expression in English we always use is to eat until you're full. Imagine your stomach is empty and you fill up and you fill up and you're full, right? Like a gas tank. Satiated is a nice, good term that we can use here. Okay. All right. So you guys are familiar with this word game as something you play with other people. But have you ever heard of it when talking about wild animals?
No.
No. Okay. So you can refer to wild animals as game, and if you refer to wild animals as game, it's usually animals that you will go hunting for, right? So, and so what kind of animals would those be? What do you go hunting for in Russia?
For bears, of course.
Bear, okay. Bear, of course.
I go for it every Saturday.
Okay. Deer. There's some people. Lera, do you have any ideas?
Squirrel.
Squirrel. You would go hunting for squirrel? Nah, don't go hunting for squirrel. If someone says, let's go squirrel hunting, say, no, it's not worth it. But you might go hunting for wild turkey, wild boar, for example. Or if you're really, really adventurous, you might go hunting for, you might go to Africa and go hunt a lion, but I wouldn't suggest that. So don't go do that. All right, good.
Great to said that because I just was going to.
Okay, you were buying tickets as we speak.
Yeah.
Okay, good. What does it mean if something is hard to come by? So for example, in Czech Republic, salted butter is hard to come by. All the butter.
Hard to find? Hard
to find, yes. Hard to find or rare. You guys have salted butter in Russia?
What?
Do you have salted butter in Russia?
Well, probably yes, but I don't think I eat it. So,
Okay, okay. I'm very curious because Czech Republic is the first country that I've lived in or visited that had no salted butter in the grocery stores. I have to put salt in my own butter. It's very, very strange to me, but I thought maybe the further you go east, the weirder it gets.
yeah, I also think we don't have those
Okay, okay.
things.
I'll have to check. It's a very strange thing to me because in every other country that I've visited and went to the grocery store and bought butter, you have a choice. There's butter, there's salted butter, and there's unsalted butter. And here's the first place that you just cannot find salted butter. So salted butter is hard to come by. Finding a Lada, do you know the car, Lada? Finding a Lada, Ladas are hard to come by.
Only in Czech Republic.
Only in Czech Republic, yeah. You might find them, they are not hard to come by in Belgorod. Good. What does it mean to help oneself? Oh, these pens here, I don't know if they belong to anybody, but I'm just gonna help myself. They're mine now. Oh, this tea, it might belong to somebody, but I think I'm just going to help myself.
It means to steal, but in a polite way.
Steal in a polite way. That's a good way to think of it. To take something that you might not have permission to have, but you just take it anyway. Yeah, in a polite way. Good. How about on the face of it? So on the face of it, the coronavirus looks very scary, right? But once you get it and you think, okay, I was sick for a week, it's not so bad.
At a first look.
At a first look, or first impression, maybe. So on the face of it, it's outward appearance, right? On the face of it, Donald Trump looked like a very mean president. Right? As you learn more about him, you think, it's not so bad. Oops,
Why Americans hate Donald Trump?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't hate him so much. I thought he did well in a lot of areas, but yeah, people just hate him. People get their news from Facebook, and Facebook hates him. So, okay, what does it mean to have the right? It's probably quite the opposite of to help oneself. To have the right. You have the right. You have the right to breathe air. You have the right to go outside and go for a run if you want. You do not.
To be possible to.
Yeah, to have the possibility of, or I would say, kind of the. It's almost in a legal sense, right? You have the right to go get a job, but you don't have the right to go smash somebody's windows, right? So it's just something that society would say is okay. Okay, so that's a good way to put it. Society says it's okay. What does it mean to look down on somebody? Great phrasal verb here. To look down on somebody.
Think that someone is worse than you.
Yeah, so to think someone is worse than you. Good. So who do we all look down on? I have to think about it. Maybe we can come up with a list of people we look down on. Evil people, bad people. Hitler, when we're playing Secret Hitler, of course we all look down on Hitler. Okay. To move to the beat of one's own drum. This is kind of an old phrase, but it's used every once in a while. So to move to the beat of your own drum. I move to the beat of my own drum in the sense that I move from country to country. I don't have a wife and children. I grow plants and watch anime, and so I just kind of move to the beat of my own drum.
Is it to make
Thinking about if you're thinking about yourself only.
Kind of. Lera, you were saying?
I think it's make your own decision.
Yeah, yeah. Make your own decisions and paths in life, right? So everybody thinks something is cool, but you move to the beat of your own drum and you just do what you want, right? You don't care what everybody else is doing. Good. This one isn't so much of an idiom, but this word came up, scarce. What does it mean for something to be scarce?
I think we wrote it down in one of our previous lessons.
Okay, while he looks it up.
But I can't find it.
Okay, so I have a lot of pens and markers here. So writing utensils are not scarce here. But salted butter is scarce here.
Something like no, easy to find, no?
Hard to find, right? So if we use a phrase, hard to come by, we can use is also scarce. Land is hard to find, hard to come by. Okay. So ladas are also scarce here in Europe. Okay. But this is a good word. This will show up every now and then. Scarcity. Good. What does it mean to fall in step with the herd? What is a herd?
No idea.
1 sheep, 2 sheep is not a herd. 30 sheep is a herd. 1 cow, 2 cows are not a herd. 30 cows is a herd.
Big group. Just a
Yeah, it's a big group, usually of grazing animals. So a herd of horses, a herd of sheep, a herd of cows. But you wouldn't say a herd of birds, right? You would say a flock of birds. You wouldn't say a herd of cats, although that would be kind of funny. Or a herd of lions, maybe. Would you say a herd of lions? I don't think you would. Okay.
So that is to do what the majority does.
Yes, yes. To do what the majority.
It's
does.
like the Facebook example where people hate Trump because everyone hates him, right?
Yeah, right. So let's fall in step with the herd and let's hate Trump with them. Yeah. So it's almost the opposite of number 11 here, right? So number 11, move to the beat of your own drum. Number 13, to fall in step with the herd. Okay. This is an interesting way to think about the majority, though, right? The majority is just a big group of dumb animals.
Yeah.
So kind of interesting. Okay, to eke out a living. Oh, let's see. I'm not rich living here in the Czech Republic, but I'm eking out a living. I'm doing okay. Just kind of barely getting by. Right? So to eke out a living means to make a living, but you're definitely not rich, and you're probably very close to being poor. Right, so to eke out a living, it just means you're just getting by, right? It's just enough. Oh, who's that? Okay, so to turn one's back on something. What does this mean? This is a nice phrasal verb. To turn one's back. Never
Probably-
heard this before? I'm really surprised. I've turned my back on the United States and I'm never moving back there ever again.
To completely forget about something and then come back to it.
Yeah, to abandon or completely remove oneself from something. Yeah, turn one's back on something. So maybe you've turned your back on, I don't know, bad friends, someone who was a friend that isn't a good friend anymore. Maybe you've turned your back on Minecraft. You used to play Minecraft every Friday, and now you're just like, oh, Minecraft, it's terrible. Good. What does it mean to be a part of something larger than yourself?
Just to be a small piece in a giant puzzle.
Okay. What would be a giant puzzle for you to be a part
Society, probably.
of? Okay, good. Society. Maybe what's something more local that you would think of? Do any of you play instruments? Gabby, you play an instrument, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you ever think, have you been in a band playing with other people?
No, I want to make a band maybe in the future.
Okay, so hopefully you find that. But here's a good example of being a part of something larger than yourself. Let's say some band that you don't really like wants you to play for them. And you know it will make everybody happy to go play guitar for them, even though you don't want to be in the band. That would be being a part of something larger than yourself, right? To try and make society or make the world better by doing something that you're not really 100% content with, right? So make the world a better place in some way, yeah. Okay, to scrape by. Scrape, do you guys know the verb scrape?
No.
Scrape means to kind of scratch off. So I'm scraping, I don't know, maybe there was something on here, I'm scraping it off, or maybe there's some mud on my forehead and I'm scraping it off, right? So to scrape by is a nice phrasal verb. It means to eke out a living. To barely make ends meet, to barely be able to get through life, okay? So, who do we all know that scrapes by? You guys probably, I don't know. Are there homeless people in Belgorod?
Well, not so many.
Not so many? Okay.
Just like two.
Okay.
Blood.
So maybe in Moscow, in Moscow, there are people who are just scraping by, right? Just finding a way to live. All right, good. To be worth the hassle, this expression. To be worth the hassle. What is a hassle? Oh, it's such a hassle in the morning when I wake up. I have to feed my cats and I have to make coffee. Oh, so many hassles. I have to do my homework. So hassles are problems, right? And so if something is worth the hassle, something has a benefit in the end.
Oh, yeah.
To have a benefit. Okay. So is it worth the hassle? So all of you have decided it's worth the hassle to get a Zoom account and listen to me blah, blah, blah about English, right? It's worth the hassle. Sometimes, we'll see. Okay, so you can see, even though this is a cartoon, we have so many really good phrases in this 5-minute clip. Actually, I think it's shorter than 5 minutes. Okay. So we're gonna listen to this clip, and we're gonna see all of these phrases. The character, the main character in this clip, her name is Sasha, and she's, if you don't know anything about the show Attack on Titan, it's an interesting look at humanity. Humans, all the humans that everybody knows are all in these cities. If you can see this image here, they're all in these cities that are surrounded by these walls. And there are 3 walls. There's an outer wall, Maria, or they call it Maria. It's spelled Maria, but they call it Maria. I don't know why. Then there's wall Rose and wall Sina. Okay. So all of humanity is within these 3 walls because there are these giants. And these giants, they're kind of mindless. They're like mindless zombies. And they're so big that they just run after people and eat them. Mm-hmm. So it's really kind of a scary thought, like these big, crazy looking giants just coming through and eating everybody. But so we're gonna look at one short clip of that show. And in that short clip, the story is that the giants have broken through the first wall, Wall Maria, and they're on their way to go get humanity inside this circle. And so everybody has to evacuate into the inner circle. Okay. So we can read here, the show Attack on Titan is set in a world where humanity lives inside cities surrounded by 3 enormous concentric walls that protect them from gigantic man-eating humanoids known as Titans. Humans have found a way to fight back against them, but it is very dangerous. In this scene, we follow Sasha Brous, who is a soldier in the nation's military. She is on her way back home, back to her home village to warn the people there that Titans are on their way and the villagers must evacuate. On her way home, she has a flashback and recalls a discussion she has with her father 3 years prior about holding on to traditions. Okay.
So is there any reason behind the number of walls? Is it just 3 and that's all?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm only something like 3 or 4 seasons, or 3 or 4 episodes into season 2, and there are 4 seasons, I think. So I'm not even halfway through the story. I don't really know much of anything about it, actually. So, but let's give it a listen. Okay?
Good Lord, again with this? Sasha! You can't always be stuffing your face. Give it here! Spit it out! We're smoking that for the winter! Oh, for crying out loud! You little... Show some restraint! Fine. Eat your fill. Idiot kid. Sasha, look around you. Ever wonder how things got to be the way they are? Why the forest is disappearing? Why game's so hard to come by these days? Or doesn't it concern you?
Sure it does. People are coming in here and helping themselves to what used to be ours. It's why I'm hungry all the time.
Yeah, that's true. On the face of it. But where else you expect folks to go when they lose their homes? They got a right to live, don't they?
It's their fault for losing their homes. Not like that gives them the right to steal.
They lost their homes because of Titans. Monsters punched a hole clean through Wall Maria. Where else were people gonna go? Wasn't their choice. They had to survive somehow, so they cleared the forest and used it for farmland. Maybe it's time for us to let go. Surrender the old ways. We're not gonna starve. Government's willing to pay us, you know. We'll make money raising horses.
What? If we turn our back on hunting, we turn our back on who we are! Why should I care about what happens to the people who've always looked down on us like we were a bunch of savages?
I'll tell you why. We're in this together. The world belongs to each and every one of us. We're human. Humans are social animals. It's all fine and good to move to the beat of your own drum. But when land is scarce, you gotta fall in step with the herd. Think about the greater good.
No! I won't do it! We've lived here all our lives the way our ancestors taught us to. I'm not gonna change! Screw the greater good! What about us?
Right then. If that's how you really feel, eke out a living in these woods. Live by the old ways like the others. But I'll tell you something. You'd best be willing to die by the old ways too. 'Cause make no mistake, Sasha, trouble is coming sooner or later. And when it does, there'll be no begging for help from the people you've turned your back on. If it means the difference between being a part of something larger than myself and scraping by on my own, I say screw tradition. It's time to move on. What about you? Are you brave enough to take that step with me? Trade the wilderness of your ancestors for a share in civilization? Or is our fellow man just not worth the hassle?
How long has it been? 3 years? Surely he'd have had the sense to pick up and leave by now. Impossible. All the way out here?
All right, so there's the scene. So as you saw, even if you don't like anime, it's amazing the level of sophistication with the translation. They're using all of these phrases, and they're using them correctly. There's no silliness about it. When I was growing up, it used to be kind of a game to find the weird translations that would come out of these cartoons from Japan. But yeah, really, really kind of interesting. The other thing that's interesting is that you see a very serious side of Sasha. In the show, she's actually she's quiet all the time. She doesn't talk all that much. And when she does, she's very polite. And the reason is that she doesn't want people to know that she's from the woods, right? So it's really this interesting side of her. Okay. So let's see if we can answer some of these questions. Why is there a shortage of wild game? What's happening to the forest?
Well, the forest gets divided into two parts where there are some hunters and farmers. The farmers came from the place that used to be behind the third wall. Now it is destroyed and they have to separate.
Right, so the giants or the titans have punched a hole through Wall Maria, and so they have to come into here, these refugees, these people who are fleeing this part of the world. And so they're clearing some of the forest. They didn't say exactly how much, but they are clearing the forest for farmland, okay? It's being cleared to make farmland. Okay. So since the forest is being cleared, I should actually be a little more clear here. The forest is being cleared to make farmland. So what happens to the animal population? It naturally goes down, right? There's nowhere for the animals to live, so they kind of die off a little bit. Right? The animal population is declining. Do you think that's fair?
Well, probably yes.
Yeah, probably yes, right? So we don't get a lot of our food from the forest. We get a lot of our food from the farm, right? And so if there weren't if there wasn't enough farmland, we would have to get it somewhere in order for society to continue living the way it does, right? All right, so who does Sasha blame for this recent shortage of game? I mean, who's really to blame?
Well, she blames the farmers,
Mhm.
and the ones who are to blame are the Titans.
Yeah, so we can call them refugees, for example. So she blames the farmers and the refugees who are being driven from this outer land inward, right? And who's really to blame?
Titans.
Yeah, the Titans, pretty much, right? These brainless, crazy guys. Okay, what is Sasha's father going to do to make a living now that the forests are disappearing? Gabby, do you remember? Lera? Bogdan?
Maybe
Well, I do, but I want someone else to answer.
I'll give you a hint. He's going to raise a specific type of animal. I'll give you another hint. Sasha was riding one of these animals.
horse.
Yeah, so he's going to raise horses. Did Bogdan leave?
Oh, he probably has some troubles with his
Connection.
connection. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have to keep an eye out because whenever students lose the connection and then come back in, I have to actually click a button to admit them back in. So it's kind of annoying. We'll see what happens. Okay, so he's going to raise horses. How do outsiders view Sasha and her family?
They look down.
Mm-hmm. So society looks down on them. And then she says a specific phrase like they're savages, right? So if she were in Russia, what kind of person would she be, do you think? What category of person?
What did you ask?
If she and her family were in Russia, what would you call these types that live out in the forest and go hunting? Do you have any nicknames for them? I think I've seen some nicknames. In English, you might call them a redneck. Have you guys heard this expression?
Yeah.
White trash, maybe. Hillbilly. Hillbilly is a good one. Hillbilly. Maybe you guys have these expressions. I think, what was it? Cattle or something like that? I have to look it up.
I think we do, but I can't think of.
Google Translate will tell me everything. Hillbilly.
Derevensky.
Probably the second one is more suitable.
The second one down here?
Yeah, this one.
Okay. Dervenshchina. Okay. And then what was the other one that I had? Oh yeah, that's the other one that I looked up. Good. So people think of her like this, right? So they don't hold her in very high esteem, right?
Yeah, now I see why she's annoyed.
Yeah, right. So she's out there living the good life, going and hunting and eating and having good times with her family and all this. And all of these people are coming in and taking her forest. And that's taking her livelihood, right? But in the end, Sasha's father finally gets her to realize that she should be willing to help others. And what was that little piece? what was that thing that she finally, like, you could see it clicking in her mind, like, oh yeah, I should probably help other people. What was he talking about?
He says that it's time to think of yourself as a part of something bigger, because it's now about surviving.
Yes, survival. Okay. So he says, if you're willing to live by the old ways, you should be willing to die by the old ways as well. Because once people, you're going to need help. These titans, they're not going to stop. They're going to keep coming at us, and you're going to need help, right? So when you need help, you're not going to get help from people that you turned your back on, right? So let's be a part of society, and let's fight this fight, right? So, yeah, interesting clip, right? Some good expressions.
Yeah, but I can also understand Sasha, because you see, they just look down on you, and that's kind of gross from their side to do that.
Yeah.
And then they come to your land and start using it. When, say, 2 days ago, they just didn't give a care about you.
Yeah. So yeah, her father says, help others, or die on your own. Something like this. So this is an easy situation, right? There's a clear evil. There's a clear bad guy or clear problem coming our way, right? And so if we were Sasha, we would probably at least try to fit into society, right? But sometimes it's not that easy. So Sasha obviously gave up on her traditions and joined the nation's military to help all of humanity fight against the Titans, even protecting those that look down on her as a savage. So while her situation is more dire and she kind of was forced to make this decision, we kind of have to think about these things, whether traditions are worth upholding or not in our own right, in our own lives. So here we have this, stop being a hillbilly and go fight this evil, because if you don't, you'll die, right? But especially in Russia, after the last, I would say 30 years or so, there are all of these old traditions and some of these new traditions kind of creeping up. And so we have to make these decisions every day, or at least once a year, something like this. Do I continue to keep these traditions, or do I let them die out, or should I fight for them? This is just some discussion questions, right? What traditions are worth keeping, and what traditions would you love to just see go away, right? I have some photos, of course, to help you with your traditions. And did a little research, so I know a little bit about these, okay? So the first one is Russian Christmas. Back in the USSR, it was not allowed to celebrate Christmas in December, right? And so you had to celebrate Christmas on January 1st, when the rest of the world is celebrating in December, sometime in December. Okay.
Well, we still just celebrated on the 1st of January, so.
Yeah, right. So this is a tradition that you're keeping up, right?
Yeah.
But some people are starting to push that celebration back a little bit into December, right?
Well, probably.
Probably. When do you guys celebrate Christmas? Not you, okay.
Yeah.
So all of you celebrate Christmas January 1st?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Gabby, you look a little disgusted.
I just celebrate the New Year, and that's all. Christmas, I don't know.
Okay, so Ded Moroz does not come to your house.
Yeah.
He does? Or no, yeah, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't. Okay. So this is
Yeah,
another
well-
one, right? Sorry, Stan?
Well, for us, Christmas is more like a religious celebration, so it's I don't
Okay.
know. New Year's, it's just a new year coming, so it's new possibilities, and that's why it's more important to us, I think.
Okay.
Well, probably it's just falling in step with the herd.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you just fall in step with the herd. So the way it works in the US, at least, I can say this about the US because I know for sure. So in October, we have Halloween,
Yeah.
and that kind of starts the celebrations, right? So Halloween, when you're young, you're taken trick-or-treating. So this is kind of a family event. Dress up your kid and go outside and go get some candy, right? But show some restraint. Don't take it all at once. And then in November, we have a holiday called Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is a massive family holiday, right? You get extended family together. Your cousins, you see your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, everybody, and you all get under one roof and you have a big turkey and stuff yourself, and it's great, right? So it's a big family holiday, even though there's no gifts. So there's no gifts during Thanksgiving. Then 1 month later, you have Christmas. And that again is another big family holiday. So by the time New Year's comes around, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, you're sick of seeing your family. You don't want to see your family anymore. So New Year's is spent more with your friends and going out and having fun, right? So this idea of New Year's being spent with the family is kind of foreign to me, but it's because you don't have these holidays before. So
Yeah, we don't have Halloween, which is dreadful. I wish I would have had this one. I just think it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fun holiday for sure. It's slowly becoming popular here in Europe, but not very much. If you want Halloween, you have to go to the United States.
Yeah, we also don't have Thanksgiving.
Yeah, right. So that's a tough one to miss out. So anyway, you have Dia de Muertos comes on January 1st, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Dia de Muertos and I guess his granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Is this a tradition that is worth keeping, do you think? Or do you think that it's not worth keeping?
Well, I don't even know because I grew up on this, but now it feels more like it shouldn't go away probably because, well,
Okay.
probably not. It's controversial.
Okay. What's controversial about it?
I don't know. Many people like
Okay.
Dia de Muertos and they just want their children to like
Okay.
him as well. But probably it's an old one. Probably we should make a step forward to something else.
Okay.
I don't know.
Lera, would you be sad to see Dia de Muertos go?
I don't think that I very impressed with it, but I 50-50, I think.
Okay. Okay. If you ever have children, are you going to tell them about Dia de Muertos? Yeah. Okay. Gabby might do it.
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. See, it's one of these things that you keep around for the children, right? Children love Dia de Muertos, right? Like, oh my God, look at this guy. Look at this guy, right?
Yeah,
He's so wonderful. Look at his beard,
yes.
his granddaughter. He's gonna bring us presents, right? So it's kind of one of these things. Like, who cares if it's one of these old stupid traditions? It's like children love it. Let's keep it around, right? So I would say let's keep it. But I don't know. Okay.
probably because Gabby's such a child.
How about Taya? Do you like Dia de Muertos? Do you want to keep that tradition?
Maybe yes. I don't know.
Okay. I would like to know, how would you guys feel if you saw Ded Moroz advertising for Coca-Cola? So in the United States, someone decided that Santa Claus should be used to advertise for Coca-Cola. And I am very surprised that everybody didn't just reject that. Such a ridiculous idea. But I've seen it ever since I was a little kid and grew up with Santa drinking Coca-Cola. And I think it's a travesty. It's so awful. It's using a tradition to sell your awful product. Yeah. So if Ded Moroz started selling Coca-Cola, would you be upset?
I think it's like Santa.
It's Santa Claus, maybe not Ded Moroz. Ded Moroz with
Okay.
vodka.
Yeah, right. What if Ded Moroz was used to sell vodka?
With vodka, it's so good, but cool, but not Ded Moroz with Coke.
Okay, good. Okay, let's go to New Year's. So New Year's in Russia, is it celebrated on January 7th or no?
New Year?
Yeah. January 1st or January 7th?
January
No,
1st.
the first.
First, okay. So this idea of celebrating on January 7th is crazy.
I think that we have the old New Year on the January 7th.
Mhm. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, the old New Year. Do you guys celebrate the old New Year or no?
If we still have power to celebrate it after the
Okay. So it's like a week long of craziness, and if you have the power.
yeah.
Okay. This is Day of the Defender. We have this February 23rd, and everybody had the day off, but you were like, we have the day off, but we don't really care about this holiday, right? Would you be okay to see this holiday go away?
No.
Oh, you want it?
Because it is, firstly, it is an extra day off, and secondly, women have their day to celebrate. And
Yeah, right. They
why
have.
shouldn't we?
They have March 8th, right?
Yes.
International Women's Day.
Yes.
So this is Men's Day, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. Lena, are you in full agreement?
What?
Do you agree 100%?
I don't know.
No, you don't know, 50-50? Okay. How
Oh,
about
it's Maslenitsa.
yeah, Maslenitsa. I just learned about Maslenitsa. Yeah, because I learned how to make, I can't show you because I don't have a picture of it on my computer. I just learned how to make blini. So I made blini this weekend. Nice flat pancakes.
Pancakes, but it's pancakes very so
Thin. Very
yes.
thin. Yes, exactly. So what is this Maslenitsa? You have some piñata, some statue, right?
Yes, and we must to burn up this
Yeah.
this wonderful girl.
Burn the wonderful witch, right? And then there's this maypole here. Oh, Paulina finally showed up at the end of the lesson. You have this maypole here.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't have one of those? Okay.
No, we do.
Okay. And then what happens with this? You have a streamer and you just walk around it, or what?
Well, we have it probably in Moscow, but I think I've never seen it in Belgrade. Well, I think we do have it in Belgrade, but I usually don't participate.
Okay. Do any of you participate? Lena? Gabby? Do you participate in this holiday, burning the witch and eating pancakes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The one thing I know for sure that we have a long and thick pole which a man have to climb on to get a present. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Vlad, have you ever climbed the pole?
Repeat, please.
Have you ever climbed the pole during Maslenitsa?
Of course.
Of course.
Yes.
Big
It's
strong
so
guy.
difficult. And it was in first or second form.
Okay, so you were first or second. Good.
I lose the time.
Good job. And then let's see, there's a burning statue or whatever here, and this guy giving out pancakes. He has a nice apron on, by the way. And here's March 8th, International Women's Day. Very nice day. In the US, we have Mother's Day. So we don't celebrate International Women's Day, although I think it's getting more popular. But here in Europe, it's very popular. And then of course, Easter. Oh my gosh, egg day, egg day, egg day, egg day, right? Eggs everywhere. And then what is this? Some sort of weird bread.
Bread with salt.
Okay. Do you make this during Easter?
Yes, it's. I don't like it.
Do you like the pancakes better? Okay, good. And then there's Victory Day.
Yes.
This is in May, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this looks more like a military holiday of some sort, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to keep this one, or should we get rid of this one?
Keep.
Okay, keep it. What is it victory over?
Over Germany.
Oh, okay. So it's from a tradition from World War II then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I had no idea. I didn't read about all of these. I only read about some of them. I read about Maslenitsa because I made the pancakes.
Yeah, Maslenitsa is great fun, mostly because of pancakes. But but you know what? My grandma makes pancakes once a month. So
Okay.
not only Maslenitsa.
Okay. So you have Maslenitsa once a month. Yes. Okay, good. And then let's see, the 12th of June is Russia Day. And it's getting to be a little bit like Independence Day for the US. It's a big, USA holiday.
Yeah.
So this is a big Russia holiday, right?
Yes, maybe. I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah, I don't think we
This day I
celebrated
just
this one too much.
at home, and that's all.
Okay. So it's in June. It's pretty late in the year. So you probably don't get a day off of school, right?
Yeah, because we don't have school on this one.
Okay, so let's keep this one, right? So we get a day off.
How do you study in the US? Because in Russia we have 3 months of free days. The whole summer is ours. We just don't study on summer.
Yeah, so that's the way it used to be in the US. We would get our last day of school would be in the middle of May or late May, and we get June, July, and August off. And so a holiday like this would mean nothing to me because I don't get a free day of school, and everybody would just be waving flags, and I'd be like, who cares, right? It's like 4th of July, exactly.
Yeah, and so it is to us.
Okay. So maybe we can get rid of this one, right? Especially, what is this? This old lady. So when I look up Russia Day, this is one of the first pictures that pops up. So yeah, anyway. Ivan Kupala Day. What the heck is this holiday? Ladies wear flowers on their hair.
Uh-huh.
You light a fire, and then you jump over the fire.
Fun fact is that I was born on this day.
Jump into fire. This is competition for it's longer to burn.
Okay. So
Longer burn.
Yes.
okay, so you light the fire, you jump over it. Why are you jumping over it?
It's some weird religious
it's a weird-
tradition which we don't know the background of.
Okay,
It's
Vlad, do you jump over the fire or no?
yeah, but it was not on Maslenitsa.
Yeah, no, this is not Maslenitsa. This is Ivan Kupala. Yeah.
Ivan Kupala.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it is on the night
yes.
on the night between the 6th and the 7th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was born on the 7th, so I probably should know much about it, but I don't. So
You should know everything about this. This is your birthday, right? Okay, good. Taya, do you ever jump over the fire during Ivan Kupala Day?
No.
Okay. Do you like this holiday? Is it fun?
I don't know. I usually I'm not celebrated to.
Okay. Okay. So when you see a crowd and a fire, you just stay away. You think, oh, that's crazy.
Yes.
Okay, good, good.
I
Lena,
think
have
it-
you? Yeah.
I
Sorry.
think it's mostly celebrated somewhere in the country, but countryside, yeah. But not
Okay. Okay. By the hillbillies, by the Bidlo.
yeah.
Should I not say that? Is that a bad word? So after you light the fire and you jump over the fire, then you put the fire in the lake, right?
Oh,
And then-
fire.
Oh, fire. Okay. Good.
Very
So these are a lot of traditions. And then, of course,
Belgorod.
yeah, Belgorod, nice church in Belgorod. So these are things that we have to think about. Do we want to keep these around? A lot of them are religious holidays, right? So a lot of the time I hear people say, I don't care about that holiday. I don't care about this tradition, right? What are some traditions that you really like, though? Do you guys like Easter?
Well, we're not paying tax on Easter, so
Okay.
so probably I don't care.
Okay. What's a holiday or what's a tradition that you really like?
Well, the New Year's Day.
New
Yes.
Year.
New Year's Day. That's a good one.
Yes, true.
Okay. How about
Yeah, as for this Moros, I think I changed my mind. We should keep it. It's real fun.
okay, good. All right, let's keep Diet Moros. I agree.
Morals.
I like Diet Moros.
Yeah, it was a great fun when I was little.
Mhm.
Yeah, so my children should try it as well.
Yeah, right. It's a great thing for children, but for adults maybe not so much. How about grechka?
Grechka.
Griechka. How about grechka? Do you want to keep that tradition? What if they said all of a sudden you are no longer allowed to eat grechka, you have to eat oatmeal?
Well,
Would you be upset?
It's not a tradition. It's just food we eat every day.
Just a food.
I know, but this is a tradition. A tradition doesn't have to be a holiday. It could be something.
So you say that you don't eat grechka in US or in Czech Republic?
In the Czech Republic, maybe they do. In every other country, no. We eat oatmeal.
Well, that's strange. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's strange for you, and grechka is strange for me, right? I've tried it; it's good. Okay.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's very versatile. Sorry.
It's very tasty.
Yeah, it's very tasty. You eat it with a little bit of butter, a little bit of sugar, right? Some
Probably some sausages.
yeah, doktorskaya kielbasa. Yeah.
With
Yeah, we did at home, we did at school, everywhere.
Yes.
Good, good. What if the world decided one day to get rid of vodka?
Vodka.
Well, it wouldn't influence on us, definitely. On how many of us?
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't call this a tradition.
Yeah.
What is some?
It is a tradition, but not ours because we are just.
Yes.
Well, no, what? He has right to drink vodka. Actually, yeah, he's 18 already.
All right, good job, Vlad.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
probably it would be a
I
big
tried.
loss for him.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes you have to think about these traditions in a way that, do you want to keep them? If somebody laughs at them, would it hurt your feelings, right? Would you be upset if somebody laughed at the fact that you eat grechka every morning, or celebrated New Year's, right? So these are some traditions that we have to think of, right? So, for example, when I first moved here to Europe, I would watch American football, the NFL, and I'm slowly letting that go. But I'm not watching football, right? I don't care about soccer. It's just, there are too many teams, too many leagues, and it's too much for me. So picking up new traditions isn't really easy for me, but letting my old traditions go is getting easier for me. This is something that will happen to you as you grow up. As you grow up, you'll start to understand, you know, I have to show my children Diet Moroz, right? And if my children don't know who Diet Moroz is, it's going to be crazy, right? If I had children, we would certainly talk about the Tooth Fairy. Do you guys know who the Tooth Fairy is?
Yeah. I think
Yes.
there is a so-called movie as well, yeah.
Okay.
But it's about a hockey player, right? Have you
It's about
seen
what?
an ice hockey player? Have you seen this one? No?
No, I haven't seen it. It sounds funny. I will look for
Yeah, you should watch this one. It's great. It's hilarious,
it. Okay. All right.
as it seems to be.
So the Tooth Fairy, if you get a tooth knocked out, you put it under your pillow, and the Tooth Fairy comes and gives you money, right? Takes the tooth and gives you money. That's what happens in the US. Is it same there? Is it the same there? Does the Tooth Fairy give you money or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Money
Yes.
also.
Letta, you got ripped off. Letta was shaking her head. No, we don't get any money. It's terrible. Okay, well, so what about ketchup? I can do with getting rid of ketchup. It's probably not a tradition.
Ketchup.
Yeah.
Ketchup. And then Santa selling Coca-Cola. Definitely don't like this one. I think this is
Yeah.
absolutely awful.
Under selling vodka.
Yeah, and Diet Moroz.
Diet Moroz selling vodka.
Let's get rid of this tradition even before it's a tradition. Good. Oh, and I got, let's see, what's in the chat?
Yeah, I just found out that it was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson starring there.
Ah, Dwayne Johnson. You can't handle the Tooth Fairy. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go watch that movie. Okay, so we're well over our time. So we found another source of good practical phrases. These phrases are used all the time. Stuffing your face, for crying out loud, you know, eat your fill, things are hard to come by, extremely good phrases, okay? So even though we found it from a source that you're probably don't watch a lot of, it's good to see English used in practical ways, okay? And then, of course, it's a good segue into talking about traditions. So I learned a lot about Russian traditions today. Thank you very much. And so, do any of you have any questions about anything? No?
No.
Okay. All right. So we have a lot of people here. Should we try Secret Hitler again, maybe in 2 weeks? Not next week, but in 2 weeks?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. It's a great game.
Okay. All right. So Gabby and Letta, you didn't get to play because you were celebrating International Women's Day.
Oh,
Yeah,
Of
good.
course.
It's nice to have a day off every once in a while. And then Paulina, it's good to see you. You're a little bit late. So the lesson starts at 5 o'clock your time, not 6 o'clock.
Oh,
But it's-
excuse me. What is the name of that anime? Is it Attack on Titan?
Yeah,
Right?
Attack
Attack
on
on
Titan.
Titan.
Yeah, Attack on Titan.
Well, I haven't watched a single anime in my life, but I think I will try this one.
Okay, it's interesting. You
Yeah,
will
it seems
know.
I just watching anime and like cartoons.
Okay. You will know if you like it or not, I think in the first 3 or 4 episodes. So if you, I think Taya, you've seen the whole thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you
And
really like it?
Yes, and I reading the manga.
Oh, okay. So you're reading the books as well, the manga.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that the manga is better?
That's very sad.
Well, it's sad, the manga.
Yes.
Okay, then I won't read the manga. I don't want to cry. But this Sasha is my favorite character from these shows because she has such a voracious appetite. She's always eating, and it's funny to see a female character that's so eaty, so greedy when it comes to eating. And so when I saw this scene and she was very serious, it was interesting to see that other side of her. But yeah, you can try it. I think you will know in the first 3 or 4 episodes if you like it enough to continue to watch it. I'm watching it very slowly. I watch 1 episode every couple of days. So it's not something that I love so much that I have to watch it all. Interesting story.
Yeah, my friends will probably punch me for watching anime, but who cares?
Hey, to use a phrase that we learned today, go ahead and move to the beat of your own drum.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, good. Okay, so any questions at all? Any comments?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. So yeah, have a good week, everybody. It was good seeing all of you again. And yeah, if you have any questions, concerns, and you want to talk to me or talk to somebody outside of this class, I'm always okay. So
Yeah.
have a good week.
Yeah, you do. Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.